Welcome to Coin Collector's World, the place where small coins tell the biggest stories. Today's journey takes us deep into the heart of American numismatic history, to uncover a coin that hides a secret so extraordinary that it has stunned collectors and treasure hunters around the world. This is the story of the 1974 Washington quarter dollar without a mint mark, a coin that has turned ordinary people into passionate seekers of hidden fortune. In the early 1970s, the United States was a nation in transition. The country was moving forward from years of conflict and change. The economy was shifting, new technology was rising, and the U.S. Mint continued to create coins that would carry the image of liberty and the legacy of history into the hands of millions. Among the coins struck in 1974 was one that would go on to capture the imagination of collectors for generations, the Washington quarter dollar, featuring the proud face of George Washington, the first president of the United States. To most people, it was just another coin, another piece of metal used in daily life. But to collectors, this specific version, the one with no mint mark, became something far greater. It became a mystery, a legend, and eventually, a treasure. When we speak about mint marks, we are talking about tiny letters that tell us where a coin was made. D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and sometimes P for Philadelphia. But in 1974, a number of quarters left the Philadelphia Mint without any mark at all. They looked identical to every other coin in circulation, yet they carried something unique, a silent story of craftsmanship and chance. On the front of the 1974 Washington quarter, you see the familiar image of George Washington, his profile bold and confident. The word liberty arches proudly above his head. Beneath his chin lies the national motto, "In God We Trust." And below it, the year 1974, engraved clearly as a marker of time. Flip the coin over, and there it is, the powerful American eagle, wings open wide, holding arrows in one claw and olive branches in the other. Around it are the timeless words United States of America and E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Below the eagle, the words quarter dollar shine in all capital letters, symbolizing a piece of the nation's strength. What makes this coin special is not only its lack of a mint mark, but also its beauty, its precision, and the few known examples that have survived in near-perfect condition. Millions were struck, but only a tiny number remain flawless, with no scratches, no wear, and a shine so pure that it reflects light like a mirror. These are the coins that collectors dream of finding. These are the coins that make history. Imagine a small quarter, barely weighing more than 5 grams, traveling through decades of American life. Maybe it was once used to buy a cup of coffee, pay a parking meter, or make a phone call. It may have passed from one generation to another, forgotten in drawers or sitting quietly in an old jar. Then one day, someone picks it up, looks closely, and realizes that this is no ordinary coin. This is the rare 1974 Washington quarter with no mint mark. Collectors and experts around the world spend years studying these details. They look at the edge, the surface, the strike, and the depth of each letter. They search for signs of originality, proof that the coin has never been cleaned or altered. Every curve, every sparkle, and every scratch tells a part of its story. In the world of numismatics, condition is everything. A coin that looks untouched by time can be worth far more than one that has seen years of use. The most valuable examples of this coin are those graded at the highest levels, coins with perfect luster, sharp detail, and absolutely no flaws. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC have certified only a handful of these coins in exceptional condition, and each one has become a prized possession for serious collectors. When one of these coins appears at an auction, excitement fills the room. Bidders compete, hearts race, and the value climbs higher with every passing second. For most people, a quarter is just 25 cents. But for those who understand the world of rare coins, that same piece of metal can represent decades of craftsmanship, history, and value. The 1974 Washington quarter with no mint mark stands as a perfect example of how history can hide in plain sight. It is a symbol of discovery, a reward for those who look closely, and a reminder that treasures often come from the most unexpected places. There have been countless stories of people finding valuable coins in their homes, in old collections passed down by grandparents, or even in pocket change. Each story begins the same way: a casual glance, a small moment of curiosity, and then the breathtaking realization that what they hold is a piece of fortune and history. Every collector knows that the thrill of coin hunting lies not just in the money, but in the mystery. It's about the excitement of uncovering a hidden gem that others have overlooked. The 1974 Washington quarter with no mint mark captures that feeling perfectly. It's not just a coin, it's an adventure frozen in metal. The United States Mint could never have imagined that this small variation, this simple absence of a mint mark, would one day create such fascination. But that is the beauty of coin collecting. Every flaw, every difference, every detail becomes part of a story that connects generations. From the hands of mint workers in the 1970s to collectors and historians today, this coin continues to inspire curiosity and wonder. So what is the true value of this extraordinary coin? What makes people chase after it, talk about it, and dream of finding it in their change? The answer lies in its rarity, its perfection, and the passion it awakens in those who search for it. Over the years, examples in perfect condition have been sold for astonishing prices at auctions and private sales. And the highest recorded value for a flawless 1974 Washington quarter with no mint mark is an incredible $75,000. Have you ever stopped for a moment to look at the coins in your pocket and wondered if one of them could be worth a small fortune? Every day, millions of coins pass through our hands. We use them to buy things, toss them in jars, or forget them in drawers. But what if I told you that one of those ordinary-looking coins, a simple 25-cent piece, could be worth an unbelievable amount of money? Today, we are going to uncover the fascinating story behind the 1995 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that hides a secret many people don't even know exists. The Washington quarter has been a proud part of American history since 1932. It was first introduced to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and ever since then, it has been one of the most collected coins in the United States. The design we know so well shows the strong and dignified face of George Washington, the first President of the United States, with the word liberty shining above his head and the famous phrase "In God We Trust" written beside him. Every time you look at a quarter, you're holding a piece of American heritage right in your palm. Now, the story gets more interesting when we move to the year 1995. At the Philadelphia Mint, millions of Washington quarters were produced that year. Each coin had a small letter P below Washington's neck, showing that it came from Philadelphia. But among those millions of coins, a few stood out from the rest, coins so perfect, so rare, and so remarkable in condition that they became the center of attention for collectors across the world. On the reverse side of this coin, the image of the bald eagle spreads its wings wide, holding arrows and olive branches, symbolizing both strength and peace. It's a design that carries both history and pride. Yet, what makes the 1995 quarter special isn't just its beauty, it's the mystery behind a handful of coins that seem almost flawless, with an extraordinary shine and crisp details that look like they were made yesterday. When coins are minted, not every piece comes out perfect. Some are struck slightly off-center, some lose their shine over time, and most get scratched or worn down. But a few, a very rare few, survive in pristine condition. These are the coins that make collectors' hearts race. When a coin like the 1995 quarter is found in what experts call mint state, graded MS-67, MS-68, or even higher, its value shoots up like a rocket. Imagine finding one of these coins in your old collection or tucked away in an envelope. It might look like just another quarter, but to the right buyer, it could be worth thousands. Some 1995 quarters also have rare minting errors, double die strikes, misaligned letters, or extra details, that make them even more valuable. Each of these tiny errors tells a story of the minting process, a story that fascinates collectors who see art in imperfection. Think about it. A coin that cost only 25 cents to make could now be a small treasure. Maybe it's been sitting in a coin jar for years, passed from one hand to another, traveling through time and pockets, waiting to be noticed by someone who truly understands its worth. Coin collecting, or numismatics, isn't just about money, it's about history, craftsmanship, and discovery. Every coin tells a story, of the year it was made, the people who used it, and the country that produced it. And the 1995 Washington quarter is one of those stories that still captures people's imagination even decades later. There's something magical about realizing that the smallest objects in our lives can hold the biggest surprises. A single quarter could be the missing piece in a collector's dream set, the one that completes a historic collection. That's why collectors around the world are constantly searching for these special coins, examining every detail under magnifying glasses, hoping to find that one perfect piece that shines just a little brighter than the rest. That if you ever come across a 1995 quarter with the letter P mint mark under Washington's neck, take a closer look. Check its shine, its edges, and its details. It might just be one of those rare treasures. Don't spend it before you know what it could be worth, because the next coin you give away might be the one that could have changed your life. This coin story reminds us that sometimes, the most ordinary things can hold extraordinary value. It's a lesson in curiosity, patience, and appreciation for the details that most people overlook. The 1995 Washington quarter is not just a coin, it's a tiny piece of American legacy that connects the past with the present and shows how something small can become incredibly significant. Collectors and historians continue to treasure these coins, not only for their beauty but for their rarity and the mystery that surrounds them. And when one of these perfect condition quarters appears at auction, the excitement in the collector community is electric. People bid passionately, hoping to own a piece of history that very few others can claim to have. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the shocking truth about how much this small silver-colored coin can actually be worth. In its most perfect mint state condition, one of these 1995 Washington quarter dollars was once sold for an astonishing amount. That tiny 25-cent coin reached a value of $70,000. Today we're talking about one such coin, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar with no mint mark. It looks ordinary, it feels ordinary, but behind its simple appearance lies a story of confusion, mystery, and unbelievable value. The year was 1965. The United States was going through what coin collectors now call the Great Silver Shortage. For years, American coins like dimes, quarters, and half dollars were made of 90% silver. But as the value of silver began to rise, people started hoarding coins for their metal worth. Banks were running low, and the U.S. Mint couldn't produce enough new coins to keep up with demand. Something had to be done. So, in 1965, a historic decision was made. The government decided to remove silver from most circulating coins. Instead of silver, a new metal combination was introduced, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. This new design looked very similar to the old one, but it contained no silver at all. This was the birth of what we now call the copper-nickel clad coin, but here's where things get truly fascinating. During this transition period, when the mint was switching from silver to clad planchets, a few leftover silver blanks somehow got mixed into the presses. These silver planchets were supposed to be melted down or reused, but by accident, they were struck with the 1965 Washington quarter design. The result? A small number of 1,965 quarters that were made of silver when they weren't supposed to be. These accidental silver quarters are now among the most famous error coins in U.S. history. To the naked eye, they look just like every other 1965 quarter. But under the surface, they carry a hidden secret that only a trained eye, or a careful test, can reveal. Now, you might be wondering about the missing mint mark. Why does this coin have no letter under Washington's neck? In 1965, to prevent collectors from hoarding coins again, the mint decided to remove all mint marks. Whether a coin was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, none of them would carry a mint mark that year. This was a strategy to make coins less collectible and more practical for circulation. Ironically, this decision made some coins even more collectible decades later. So how can you tell if your 1965 quarter is one of these rare treasures? There are a few signs to look for. First, check the edge of the coin. A normal copper-nickel clad quarter will show a thin reddish-brown strip of copper when you look at its edge. But a rare silver error will have a solid silver-colored edge, with no copper visible. Second, you can weigh the coin. A regular clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. But a silver quarter will weigh slightly more, around 6.25 grams. That tiny difference in weight could be worth thousands of dollars. Imagine the excitement of finding a coin like this. You're sorting through your old change, maybe rolling up coins to take to the bank, when one coin catches your attention. It looks just a bit different, maybe the color seems off. You put it on a small scale, and suddenly your heart skips a beat when the numbers don't match a normal quarter. You've just found a rare transitional error from 1965, a mistake made 60 years ago that has now become a treasure. Collectors love coins like these not only because they're rare but because they tell a story. The 1965 Washington quarter represents a major shift in U.S. coinage history, the end of silver in everyday American coins. It's a coin that marks the beginning of a new era, and the rare silver versions serve as a beautiful accident, a link between two generations of American money. Even regular 1965 quarters, if they're in mint condition or have never been circulated, can bring a good price among collectors. But the real magic lies in those few struck on leftover silver planchets. They've become the crown jewels of quarter collecting. One of these rare quarters shocked the coin world when it appeared at auction. Experts examined it, confirmed its silver content, and graded it in exceptional condition. Bidders went wild as the price climbed higher and higher. When the hammer finally fell, the coin had sold for an incredible $60,000. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1965 Washington quarter dollar with no mint mark sold. Thank you for joining us today on Coin Collector's World, where every episode brings you closer to the hidden value inside your pocket change. Remember to subscribe, like, and share so more collectors can join our growing community of treasure hunters. Keep searching, keep collecting, and never stop believing that the next coin you find could be the discovery of a lifetime. Until next time, this is Coin Collector's World, where coins tell stories and collectors make history.